So yeah, the first thing in here is humans. So let's look at the human traits here for now. For one thing, you can now become small as a human. That is within your options. And then resourceful here. You gain inspiration whenever you finish a long rest. So you're going to see that they're definitely trying to make something of inspiration. It has historically been in 5e that inspiration was a little bit dull in the payoff and very vague in the application because it's based on role playing. Like it was based on your bonds, your ideals, all those traits in your role playing that people don't necessarily love or use a lot. I'm glad they're trying to make more of inspiration. I hope they do more than what is in this Unearthed Arcana, but I like seeing them use it more in unroleplay vague ways. But I hope they don't lose that because they did omit some of that wording like they had before. So yeah, inspiration, that's cool. They still get proficiency in one skill of their choice. And then versatile, you get the skilled feat I don't know why they bothered to say you get the skilled feat or basically any other first level feat, because I think skilled feat is in itself a first level feat. So we're going to call that a strong recommendation is what I'm going to consider that to be for the skilled feat. But first level feat of your choice. So this is interesting because there are feats that I assume will not be considered first level feats, stuff like sharpshooter, polearm master, if they even still exist in this new iteration or if they're changed dramatically. It's yet to be seen. This could be a nerf to humans because the types of feats they have access to may not be as impactful, but they do get 2 feats now because now you'll get one from your background. Backgrounds come with a first level feat now. And so it's the human who would get 2 first level feats instead of 1. And so that is pretty cool, but they just won't get maybe some of the, let's call them top tier build enabling feats, which could be fine. Could be maybe humans, no one will pick them. I guess we'll see. All right, we talked about inspiration quite a bit earlier, but I will just add this. It does say character instead of a creature. That's interesting. So is a monster a character? Maybe they're making another distinction, but it's not capitalized. I don't know. Instead of it being based on your bonds, ideals, and all that stuff of like role playing, it's based on if you just do something heroic or amusing. I thought that was interesting because oftentimes we get inspiration if we do something funny or we say something funny, we make a joke. So this is kind of a departure from what inspiration used to be. In addition to the mechanics of like the human getting inspiration when they rest or the musician feat giving inspiration when you rest, to make it less about role playing and more ambiguous. This could be good though, because maybe it opens up DMs to be more creative to say like it's just something heroic or amusing. Maybe that's better than the bonds and the ideals and flaws. This Unearthed Arcana is kind of changing things up, but in 5e, there's no reason to take away long rest inspiration, in my opinion, because a lot of times players will, for sessions and sessions, have inspiration before they use it because they just don't have a need for it. So I don't think this is needed, losing inspiration, especially if you can only have one at a time. Like, why make them lose it? All right, the Ardling. So this is a new race, which is the other side of the coin of tieflings, right? So tiefling is more like your infernal, hellish stuff. Ardling is celestial based, and they have animal, bestial type traits. So some people have said like, oh, this is great for furries, like this, they're catering to furries. Like, I've never really cared for that criticism. Like, are you just going to make all races look human? Like, there's only so many things you can make them look like. I like this, like, Egyptian, like, they had all the kinds of, like, Anubis and Horus and that sort of thing. That's more what I'm picturing. And so I think it's a cool concept. Mechanically, I find it pretty dull. They can be medium or small, so I kind of like the idea of being this small Ardling, like you're the celestial being. Oh, I also pictured Beerus from Dragon Ball Super. He looks kind of like a purple Anubis. And so I think that's... something I kind of picture is like you could play as Beerus of like the Ardling. That's kind of cool. They all get angelic flight, which is just like a boost of flying, proficiency bonus, all that stuff. It's like, it's fine. It's not full-time flight, so it's more manageable. I'm not one person who freaks out about dark vision or flight as much. I used to limit flight more, but especially this kind of limited flight, I don't really worry about it. The only one that caught my eye is one of them can get healing word as a spell and guidance, and so that's probably the one that's probably most appealing, is to get healing word if you're not already like a cleric or something. They get damage resistance to radiant as well. That's fine. And none other abilities are related to the animal head they get. Yeah, Mark, that's true. Some people have said they wish that they got abilities that are specific to that type of animal, but they left it so open-ended to be like whatever animal you want. Like, there's no way they could do it unless they went like a mammal feature and an amphibian feature. Like Opal, she just did this thing for our Patreon called Warrens and Weasels, where it's like play a D&D short campaign or something with like really rules light, but you could play anything from like an ant to a whale. And there's just like classifications of like the different animal types, and you get kind of abilities that way. So they could go that route. I think that'd be more exciting, but I think the animal features, it's not supposed to be like a beast race. It's a celestial race that just looks animalistic. So I doubt, could be wrong, that they will go right. Pigs can fly now. Yeah, now pigs can fly for 1 turn. I thought Aasimar was a better counterpoint to Tiefling, but the Ardling is interesting thematically. I forget who it was. Someone said that they might be doing the Ardling because it's copyrightable or trademarkable, because you have to make it like look different enough from other things. I don't know if that's true or not, because I don't think bestial humanoids are that unique anymore. But that's one take I heard that I thought was interesting. So looking forward here at Dragonborn, I am so disappointed with this, because what they did with the Fizzbands Dragonborns was so interesting, and then this, they just kind of backtracked and said, like, let's go back to the player's handbook version, but just slightly buff the damage. Like, I was so disappointed. I didn't really leave a lot of notes with this one, but basically it's like they have dark vision now. Great. That's what everyone wanted. I know people did complain, like they thought Dragonborn should have had dark vision. I have heard that complaint before, but this is so dull. The Fizzbands Dragonborns are just better in every way. I guess they probably had to include some version of the Dragonborn in this, just to have all the players' handbook races here. I don't know, but I hope they don't publish this, because that will be sad and kind of pitiful, honestly, because Fizzbands really nailed reworking the Dragonborn that people have wanted for so long. But hopefully Fizzbands, the Dragonborn there, doesn't just get tossed aside and they say like, oh, that's legacy content just from a year ago. That would be sad. Rob says, yeah, disappointing Dragonborn. They're better in Fizzbands. So much better. And not like an overpowered way. They were just cooler and more viable with your action economy. And yeah,